You don't have to know anything about working out to know that if you want to get a great workout, you just have to go until you're really tired. Thanks, common sense. But do you really know what it means to fail? That is the difference between someone who has been working out for a long time and somebody that just gets into it. Anybody can look up how to do upright rows and squats and deadlifts and all these workouts, but not everybody knows what it really means to go to failure. So how do we teach ourselves that if I don't have tons of years to just go through this almost evolutionary process, if you will, in your journey to becoming very fit and to really understanding what it means to be dying at the end of a set, at the end of a workout, each set? You can do something where when you fail, it's perfectly safe. A great example is a push-up. You do push-ups until you literally fall on your chest. You don't smash your face against the ground, obviously. You don't let that happen. You respect your body. You got to respect your body. But you also have to understand that's what failure is. Once you feel that, you'll realize you did 5 more than you ever thought you could have done. You thought you were done 45 seconds before you fell on the ground and you were holding yourself there, just shaking, just holding yourself for your life, like your life depended on it for 1 set. And so if you can do that for 5 sets, you're getting so much more out of the workout than somebody who sits there and they go through the motions for 30 sets and they're there for an hour and a half. That is the biggest thing. That is the secret, quote unquote. It's knowing what it means to want it, and it's knowing what it means to really be dying. You don't do that with a back squat. You don't put a bar on your back and go to failure to the point where you fall down and the bar falls off your back, obviously. But if you're doing the squat machine where, the hack squat or whatever the hell, where the back squat, you're going down and you're sliding, right? You can afford to go to the bottom. There are safety bars that are going to catch you. Just do as many as you can until you literally fail and you stop there. Then take a couple breaths and try to push yourself up again. You might get up halfway. You might barely get up. You might not get up at all. So you take a few more breaths. You try again. You get up. You're shaking. You're holding it. It's just not coming back down to the bottom. These are the types of things you need to do to get that mindset. You can't just go in and have that when you just start working out as a New Year's resolution person that walks into the gym. That's the most important thing. I see so many junk reps from people where there's lightweight and they're just flying up and down. It's not doing anything. You're better off staying at home and doing 5 minutes of planking straight. And what that equated to was 1 minute and 45 seconds because you never plank. And you went until you absolutely just couldn't do anything else and just fell down. Doing that, say, twice, then go to the gym for a half hour. That is the simple principle of the day. So obviously you add some education into that and you do your research online and you can look up any workout on YouTube. We've shown a lot of workouts, obviously, and for our word on anything, you don't just use ours, use all your resources. Go out and diversify your knowledge and, understand from many different sources just generally what's good for you, on another note. But learning the exercises, that is not the difficult thing. Keeping good form, that is not the difficult thing. Knowing that it makes sense to slightly sacrifice form while controlling the weight, being the key there to get the most out of it. Say leaning a little in a row, not yanking, but so you can go heavier and it's very, very difficult and you're spitting up sweat at the end. Those things, they come over time, but you can get the knowledge. You have to understand what it means to fail. That's what it is. And that's something that I think if you find and you're somebody that just got into working out, it will change your life. And it could happen going for a 3-mile run if you're not used to doing cardio, right? That might destroy you. But, not to the point of injury, to the true point of failure. A simple message, but something I really want to drive home. And in the beginning of the workout, do compound exercises. If you don't really know, all right, I get that, but am I going to do lateral raises until I just can't? In the beginning of the workout, do a compound movement. What is that? Utilizes multiple muscle groups, squats, deadlifts, power cleans, jump squats, sprinting, right? Weighted push-ups, weighted pull-ups, dips, weighted dips, all these sorts of things. Standing shoulder press. We're using multiple muscle groups. You got to stabilize your core. So you got to use tons of muscle groups. You do those first, then you get into the isolation stuff at the end. So the worst thing you could do is go in and do a bunch of junk reps in the beginning of the workout. Warm up way too long. This would be like the worst workout. You warm up way too long. You pick up the fives and you're doing this and you're getting your shoulders ready, and then you go and eventually you pick up 15s and you do like 20, and then you just hang out for like a minute and you do, another 20. Just go to absolute failure. Aim for something very difficult in the beginning, do the easy stuff at the end. Simple principles. I think if you're somebody that is a novice lifter, will help, all right, for you to achieve something in short time. Thanks a lot, you guys. A very simple message. I know a lot of it is common sense, right? But sometimes you need to hear that, and you need to know that you can do that and have no fear. I've trained people that, I'll tell them to do something and they say, I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, you can do that because you can do this part of that. So you can do this other part of that. So let's combine all of that, and then they do it. And you just realize you had to realize you can do it. And that's it. So push yourself to the limit. You have no limits is what you're going to realize sooner or later, because they'll always be changing. Have a great night. Thank you so much, and happy Wellness. What's up, you guys? Who do we got on here? Say what's up to the homies that just killed myself in the gym. Yeah. How many stomach punches? San Jones, let's find out. That's great. Shasha. How many stomach punches can I take? What's up, the Isaiah? Princess 15 Buffy. Alpha David, what's going on? George Alfonso, you should not stretch before a workout. You never static stretch before a workout. It increases your risk for injury and decreases performance. You always do dynamic warm-up. So, for example, if you were doing legs, you wouldn't bend forward and touch your toes and stretch your hamstrings out. What you would do are leg swings. You'd swing your legs front to back, side to side, while holding onto a wall. Something like that, and go faster and faster until your muscles were loosened up enough that they had good elasticity to them, if you will, without pushing them to end range in a static or still stretch. Marlazon. Hope that was helpful, George. Niley Salazar, what's up? Janol, Drake Ramirez. San Jones, you're hilarious, man. Gary K, Brian Shawkins, Stephen Apple Blue, what up, Maria Capo, what's up, Meg? Bruno Ames Fitness, oh my, Brandon Malone, Dake Poppy, Official Vic, BUB True, Junior Castillo, and Marcus Rose Fashion. What's going on, my man? Have a fantastic rest of your night, you guys. That's all we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have a great night. Happy Wellness. Thanks.